That's pretty heavy. How do you handle chronic depression as a business owner without turning to antidepressants? Solid question. So I've got no idea who this came from. So I'll talk to you, whoever put the question in, I'll talk to you. But also, you know, there are a lot of other business people who, I guess, are flirting around the lines of burnout, anxiety, and depression. Listen, I'm no doctor, so I need to make that clear, but I certainly have opinions on how to handle this stuff. I would even go so far as to say to you that there is a time and place for antidepressants. I'm not a fan of them, obviously, and they are not a long-term solution, but there is a time and place for that. I have seen people with chronic depression who tried on their own to battle through it and it didn't work. I've seen the really ugly side of that with one of my best buddies taking his life last year. And I've also seen people who just used antidepressants for a short period of time and it just took the edge off them enough to think clearly enough to put some structure in their world that when they were off them, they were able to get ahead. So I don't want to write them off and say that they're of the devil, but they're certainly not a long-term solution. But your question is, you know, how do you handle chronic depression as a business owner without turning to them? One of my theories is the opposite to progression in the English dictionary is the word regression, okay? But I think in modern culture, the opposite to progression is depression. I see a lot of people that would have depression or be depressed, I would call them different things, is the result of them not seeing things going fast enough. Their business isn't building. They're treading their water for far too long. They feel like they've been banging their head against the wall for so many years, and they're not seeing the fruit of it. You know, they're not seeing a team around them to take the pressure off, cash flow to buy assets. They're just not seeing that stuff. Now, this may or may not be you. I don't know. But I feel like the people that I meet that are feeling this way, it's because they're also feeling like they're not moving ahead in life. And so quite often, one of the greatest ways to shift our perspective is actually to start, you know, doing the work that leads to that outcome. One of the things about depression is quite often our head can become a fog. And in that, we may work a 12-hour day, but we did 3 hours of productivity. So I guess what I'm saying here is shifting the amount of time and energy that we work into stuff that actually matters. You know, if more attention was put towards marketing and more attention was customers and more attention was sales, maybe the business would start to improve, and by default, some of that depression would go away because you're starting to see the progression that you need. There would be a case for just rest. Okay, so I guess if we try and cover all bases here, there's definitely a point that you need to have some rest. One strategy that I've seen that works for people outside of business across the board is when people are suffering depression or feeling depressed, when they change their mindset to I want to go and help somebody else, it gives them purpose and it gives them hope and it brings back drive, and that gets them out of that slump. I knew a person that had depression, and you know, it was said to this guy, hey, listen, your neighbor over the road has got cancer. And so this person just took it upon themselves to start going to visit their neighbor. They were miserable, so they went and hung out with somebody with cancer. But just by doing that, just by having that purpose and investing in somebody else and being there to chat and listen, this person's world, you know, completely reframed. They had a purpose to get up in the morning. They loved their connection with their new friend. You know, they were vulnerable about things, you know, and it completely rewired the way they saw, and they had a real joy for life that came from serving another human being. And because I don't know, I've never had depression, so I'm a little bit, you know, not schooled on it, I guess. But I've been low, and I've had times that are insanely hard and whatever. Sometimes I can't see my own stuff, whereas when I've got a purpose with another person, you know, it's an interaction that lets me see something that I can't see when I'm auditing myself. And so, you know, that's what I would say. I would say that, you know, it's somewhere between a mix of maybe drugs as a short-term answer. I just don't want to rule out people that have done far more research than me. Maybe serving another human being will be the answer. Maybe rest is the answer. Or maybe just rejigging your daily activities to be towards the kind of work, the kind of tasks that's going to move your business forward is going to be enough for you to reframe yourself, because you're going to start to see progress, and that might be enough to keep you moving forward. Here's what I would say. Definitely go and seek some Christian help. Go and find a Christian counselor and go and spend time with them. Don't worry about what it costs. I know that's easy for me to say. Listen, having seen my friend take his life, you need to give away any money to go and get help if it's really bad for you. Please, please, please don't consider taking your life. Please don't. Having been through it with somebody who was only a friend, I wasn't family with this guy, somebody who was a friend, it's nearly unbearable for us. It would be way worse for him, but it was nearly unbearable for us too. If you don't feel like you have anybody to go to, reach out to me in private message and I'll help you and I'll put you in touch with somebody. But please don't act on any of those crazy thoughts, okay? I just don't want you to do that. So reach out to us, and if that's any of you, by the way, any of you who are feeling like this and you feel like you need a lifeline because you're at the end, you can reach out to me 24/7 and we'll do our best to help you through that. That's all I've got for you, because I ain't no doctor.